Hey Kritika.
Hi, Vijay.
Hey, how are you? Hi Abhishek.
Hello.
Hey, hi. Thanks for joining the session. I guess we are waiting for the others as well.
Yeah, it's no problem.
How's Sunday morning looking for you guys?
Hey, feeling sleepy.
Such a nice day, yeah? Shouldn't feel sleepy. It's really nice morning.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just give your friends a couple of minutes because it's gonna be if it's just both of us, then we can literally have a one-on-one session. So let's just wait.
Shweta, in the meantime, I have one request.
Go ahead. Ashwata's not joined. I'm using her account today. It's Kritika here. Tell
Okay,
me.
yeah. Okay, Kritika. So, just a query. It is related to the session conducted yesterday by Manish Kukreja.
Okay.
So, I would like to request one thing. I'm like something who never used software language as a primary. So I'm finding it little bit difficult to grab all these things. So is it possible if you can share the recordings with us after the session so that we can keep follow the instruction next time, because it is not easy for me to follow all the instruction at the same time.
So Abhishek, the recordings are going to be shared with you. So we'll make sure that all the recordings of all the session after the sessions are done, we'll be sharing it with you. It'll be put on the platform and you can access it from there.
Yeah, it just usually takes 1 or 2 days for us to upload it over there because it might need some cleaning or technical work. But within 48 hours, usually the sessions are up on the platform.
Okay, okay, that's great. Because frankly speaking, yesterday's session I'm not able to get anything because I joined like 5 minutes late, and after that everything went from above my head. So
I understand sometimes it can get really overwhelming, but don't worry. You'll get there. It's fine. Don't worry.
Yeah. We'll be sharing all the material with you post the sessions. So
okay,
shouldn't be a problem. Yeah.
okay. Thank you, Mahesh.
Yeah. Hey, hi Anurag. Thanks for joining. Anurag, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi. I can hear
Hey,
you.
morning.
Hello.
Yeah. I can hear
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Yeah.
hi.
Yeah. So we are waiting for the others as well. Pratika is here as well. Who'll be taking the session. So I guess
Okay.
waiting for a couple of more guys to come to join, and then we can start.
Vijay, let me know when you think we can commence.
Yeah. I can see your screen. Yeah.
Okay, let me know when you think we can start. If there's anyone else joining from the back.
Let's start at 8:10. Let's wait for another 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
because it's the first session with me, guys, it's not a heavy session. It's going to be a lot of seeing how the others have transitioned, what they did that went right, all of that. So don't worry. Honestly, I think I would like to start because for the ones who have joined on time, I don't want to waste their time.
Yes, sounds good. We can start.
Right, great. Hi, Abhishek and Anurag. This seems like a very one-on-one session because Sunday morning, I think this both of you have joined. So I don't mind as long as this can be interactive between us. If you guys have questions, you can ping me on chat. You can ask me. I'm right here to answer all your questions. Today, we're just going to understand how some folks from the past have successfully transitioned into, a full-time and good, very, I would say, um, happy careers in data science and what they did that really went right for them versus what did not go too well. We're just going to look at some of those things, and I'm also going to share the we like to call it the success recipe as to what you can do starting today to ensure that by the end of this you are good to go, you're good to transition really fast. All right, works. Okay. Oh, and I'm Kritika. I handle career services and all these career services training at Grey Atom, and you can connect with me on LinkedIn. And if you ever have any questions, you can always ping me. So if you go to the website, no, there's a page success stories, or even on the homepage when you start scrolling down, I like how it doesn't end immediately. There's so many transition stories. These are all our past learners who have moved ahead and their LinkedIn accounts, and you can just connect with them. You can ask them whatever questions you want, whoever you want. If you think you want to know about their company, about what projects they have done, you can just ping them. Let's just quickly look at one. This is Jasraj, a very driven learner we had. Let's just quickly look at his what he has to say.
I work as an AI engineer at Emotex, and my major focus is on NLP, natural language processing. And we have a product called Miko, and my job is basically to teach Miko human language. As far as the career aspirations go, I wanted to do PhD in pure mathematics. I was nowhere near inclined to do anything related to data science, but for some reason I could not continue with the academics, and I started searching for other options. That is when I found out about data science. As I said, one thing that really appealed to me about Grey Atom was the process in which, the elaborate way in which they had given the syllabus. That really appealed to me. Being a math student, I always like structured format. And the only, the institution which gave me a nice format was Grey Atom. So the fact that I got to do NLP, CV, and learn recurrent neural stuff like recurrent neural networks and all is something I'd never imagined to do, because it involves maths, coding, everything. I joined Emotex as an intern while the course was going on. So the focus on hands-on helped me in performing better at internship, at learning, to be honest. In any, like, to learn any skill, I had to, work really hard, and doing things hands-on is what made the difference. Those projects, and the thing is, I still use the same concepts to this day in my office as well. So the similar pipeline, what I learned at Grey Atom during the hackathons and projects, I use it here also. Personally, now looking back, instructors is what I would, ask the people to look at, because Grey Atom's instructors are something that are, those people are really helpful, and they go out of the way to make sure that you are doing good. I started with BSc in mathematics, then went on to do MSc in mathematics, then joined the course for Grey Atom, and after that I became AI engineer because of Grey Atom.
Okay, so so this is where I want to bring in that he comes from a very different background. He doesn't come from a very technical background. He comes from absolutely mathematics, like he's a math geek. And of course, while you know that maths is one of the most important things you need in data sciences, it's still a lot of other technical knowledge that he did not have, and he was worried about transitioning. But guess what? Let's accept that he did a brilliant job at transitioning, and we can do that too. So here is a link. When we share this deck with y'all can click on the link and you can see the other stories as well. I'm not going to go into all the stories today. These are some of the companies where our Grey Atom alumni are working. So there are actually a lot more. I personally know there are a lot more. I don't know why we haven't added. I think there's not enough space here. But yeah, some of the very recent ones are Johnson & Johnson, L&T Next, Upstocks. So learners are working everywhere. There is no limitation you'll have once you're graduating. So, okay. So while it's just, I think, 3 of us, I want to open the house and ask you guys, can you tell me the difference between these jobs? Data analyst, data scientist, data engineer, business analyst, machine learning engineer. Does anybody want to try?
No, sorry, I don't have much idea. Frankly speaking, here, it's something very new to me.
All right, no problem. Okay, so fine, I'll go ahead and I'll tell you a little bit about this. So a data engineer is someone who ideally, works on sourcing the data. This person identifies where the data is coming from, how we need to clean up the data, how we need to put it in a particular format. That later can be worked on, right? Now, once the data engineer does all of this cleaning and puts all the data in the right format and everything, it goes on to the data analyst. The data analyst is someone who analyzes all of that data, applies models, and then tries to bring insights out of it. That is the role of an analyst. Now, both of them individually cannot be data scientists unless they start working end-to-end on these projects. And when I say end-to-end, it also means working on the business side of it. A data scientist is I think, the most common, I mean, all the companies are usually looking for a data scientist, someone who can do all of this and someone who also understands the business problem. Now, if say I have a client, I will come up and tell you that, to my data science team that, hey, there is, my client has this particular business problem, do something about it. The data scientist is expected to pick up that problem, convert that into a data science problem, and then, get everything else done. So if we say that, are you going to be able to function like a data scientist towards the end of this? then you will need some industry experience. It takes time for someone to really evolve into the point where this person is a complete data scientist end to end. So ideally, we all start at somewhere with data analyst, data engineer, ML engineer. We start with these, and then we walk it up to a data scientist. A business analyst is someone who has very good communication skills, and this person is ideally the liaison, or say this person is ideally the bridge between all the different stakeholders. If I'm a business analyst, I will be working with the client, I'll be working with the senior management, I will also be working with the data science team in my company. So I am the one who communicates or transfers information, or rather shares and presents the ideas and updates between all the four different stakeholders. I'm the bridge between them. So a business analyst can be someone who's trained in data sciences, but may not be someone who does coding and all of that on an everyday basis. But this person understands the technology really well and is able to communicate that. That would be a business analyst. And machine learning engineer is someone very similar to data engineer, but of course there's a lot of machine learning models and everything that you need to apply over there. So that's, I think, a gist of how the different roles are. Having said that, our industry in India right now, or even abroad for that matter, companies are not very clear about this, demarcation themselves. So they might just say, I'm looking for a data analyst, when actually they're looking for a data engineer. They might say, I'm looking for an analyst, when they're looking for a data scientist. So what they say versus what they expect versus what you end up doing in that company is going to be very different. It's all going to be in the same realm of data sciences, but the exact function that you do, that really depends on that company's requirement at that moment. It's not even something that they usually plan a couple of months in advance, because everyone's still experimenting. A lot of companies are still trying to figure out their way around data sciences. So what do you need to know to get a job? Now, as I was talking about, this JD is an absolute myth. The JDs that you see are usually copy pasted from another company's JD. So you can't really apply to a job purely basis what is written on the JD. Sometimes they're looking for say 30% of whatever they have mentioned. Say they've mentioned 5 skills that you definitely need to have, when in reality they will be okay with hiring you even if you have, say, 2 skills out of the 5. Usually I work with the 30% concept, at least in data sciences. If you think you have 30% of the skills and the requirements mentioned on the JD, I think you're still good to apply, because the rest of it is something you can learn while you're at the job. Of course, make sure that your resume always aligns with the JD, because even if they have copy pasted the JD from somewhere else, they're going to use that as the benchmark to really screen candidates. So make sure that your JD, your resume is definitely tweaked to match this JD. Now, do you want to mention all these skills that mentioned in the JD on your resume? I would say do that only if you think your skills actually match, in the sense you really have the skills. If you are upskilling yourself into something, then don't put that just because it's mentioned in the job description. Make sure you know it before you add it. If you don't take that risk, because that becomes the point that you're grilled at. Don't do that. So what do you really need to know to get a job? So there are 3 things. First is the basics, second is be great at one thing, and the third is the ability to learn quickly. I'm gonna first talk about be great at one thing. Why? Because so like I think I was just talking to Abhishek about yesterday's session. There will be a lot of sessions where you might find it difficult to comprehend. There will be sessions where you pick up really easily. The sessions where you pick things up really easily, It could also be because you are very interested in that particular topic, or because some things come naturally to you. You know, some things just naturally are easier and you understand better. Some things are just you have a stronger hold on those items. So when you identify what is that one thing, one part of data sciences that I'm really good at, that becomes your superpower. That superpower is something you should definitely make sure that it reflects on your resume, on your LinkedIn, on your projects. So example, if you're someone who's really good with finding insights, like you have a curious mind and you're good with finding insights from a big data set, you really know how to find solutions out of some analysis that you're running, then I think data analyst kind of roles make absolute sense to you. And at that moment, you already know what your superpower is. Your superpower could also be on the business side. Say you have an MBA background, say you have a very particular domain experience. So it does not have to be something very technical. That domain experience could be your superpower, and when you are creating your own niche, it just becomes part of what you do. Your superpower becomes your domain, and when you join an organization that works in that particular domain, it adds really well to your portfolio. It really adds very well. So please try to identify over a due course of time. You will look at other concepts, you look at the different tasks that your job might entail, and then try to identify what this is for you. Let's look at some basics. So I'll tell you, a lot of times, some of our learners who have gone for interviews, they complain sometimes that what they were asking me some very basic questions. They were asking me about concepts. You don't want to ask me some basic questions when I go for a job. But believe me, that's what they do. I think even Jasraj mentioned that I'm still applying the same concepts that I've learned. And believe me, it's literally the way we learned in school, where you need to know your foundations really well. In data sciences, it's all, this Tableau, Python, R, all of these are just tools you're using. Eventually, it's the concepts that really help you solve business problems. You just need to make sure that your concepts are very strong, and keep revising, keep going back to the videos that we will be uploading on GLabs, on the platform. Make sure that your basics are really strong, because if that's not happening, you will not grow very fast in your career. To grow, you need to make sure you're damn good at these things. So yeah, when I say basics, you need to know how to build your project end to end. You need to be able to convert a business problem to a data science problem. And when you're applying these algorithms from libraries, you need to be able to, justify why this algorithm versus that, and not just understand how it works. So it's so yeah, basics. Yeah, your stats and maths. I know some learners who are very scared of statistics or scared of maths, even though they are like decent at it. Well, this is a non-negotiable. This is not going anywhere. Maths and statistics are here to stay, and you will have to get your hands around, really good with it. So just make sure you're practicing enough. This is something that you cannot, you can't avoid. You can't ignore that. Your maths and stats have to be really strong. We spoke about how you can be good at one thing, and that could be your data science superpower. So ability to learn quickly. Yeah, again, this might also sound very schoolish for you, but believe me, a lot of hiring partners, when we talk to them, they say that I don't want someone who's not trying things on their own and then is not learning from their mistakes. I'm sure when you have already started working on data sciences, you're working on projects, I'm sure you're doing tasks, you will find some things really hard, But if you are ready to learn, if you're flexible, if you're agile that way, it will really work for you. Data science is a technology that came in not many days back, not many years back, and suddenly it booms to be the best thing to work on in the world. And you never know what this is gonna go on to. Newer things will come up, technologies evolving like anything. So you need to be able to learn really, really fast. You need to be able to upskill yourself all the time, and you need to be on your toes. So ability to learn quickly is again something uh, that you have to be very flexible with. Also, uh, so there was this one example a recruiter gave us that he had hired someone just in general, and whenever, and that person was really smart. Okay, the person who came from a very qualified background, and whenever this individual had to sit for had to work on any item, he would not ask any questions immediately. Then after probably 1 hour, this person would come back with 10 questions. And the recruiter said that my only problem was this person is not even trying to do it themselves. At least try to work on it. At least try to see if you can find solutions on your own, and then learn from that. And then I will help you. I will 100% help you on that project, but I need you to try it yourself. So that's also something you need to have. There has to be some of grit from your end, where you try out things yourself before you really go up and ask questions. Asking questions is good, but at least try it yourself once. Do we have any questions so far?
No, not right now.
All right.
Yeah.
So what do we need to do to get noticed by hiring managers and recruiters? And other than just putting it on a resume that you come from Grey Atom, you also need to be able to prove that, justify that you can do the job, right? So how do we do that? So first, very strong point is you need to have at least a minimum of 2 portfolio projects, and they have to be updated on GitHub. Have you guys, do you guys have any idea what I mean by when I say portfolio projects? Okay, so I don't think this has been discussed. So a portfolio project is basically a project that can show, that shows your superpower, and also is something that you have conducted the whole process end to end. You know every part of it. You know how the tasks are carried out. You can do, if I ask you to replicate that project, you will be able to do that. So that would be a portfolio project. It starts from taking the business problem, converting it to a data science problem, sourcing the data, cleaning the data, working on the data and getting some insights to the point of presenting the solution and your whatever you have understood from that data. Everything that becomes your portfolio project, right? It's really important for you guys to have at least 2 very strong portfolio projects on your resume. I would suggest that identify what domain you're interested in. Is it finance? Is it insurance? Is it is it a product? Is it e-commerce? FMCG? What is it that really interests you? And look at a project from that particular domain, and then approach that. Start building it today. So by the end of this, you will have some strong projects in your basket, and that is really going to go a very long way for you. Because also projects are the only way for you to really prove you know this. You have to have at least one hackathon to showcase, whether it's at Grey Atom or outside Grey Atom. You want to participate in a hackathon and see if you can win that hackathon. It shows really well on your profile. Basics of concepts, of course, as I said, you have to be really good with the basics. You need to know your superpower. At least 4 failed interviews. I'm not saying you have to go for 4 failed interviews, but you need to prepare yourself for this. Learners have to apply for jobs, like unlimited applications. I know people who have applied for 10 jobs every single day, and then they get shortlisted in many of them. Some of them don't get shortlisted easily. They go for interviews. But then for all the people who have successfully transitioned 4 failed interviews is quite common. You sit for interviews and you're either not the right match, they're looking for something else. Also, please understand in data sciences, again, this is happening that there are a lot of failed interviews because half the time, only after the company talks to someone, they realize they're not even looking for someone in data sciences, they're looking for something else, right? So you will have to be very motivated and consistent. It is gonna be a while. It's going to take a couple of efforts, a couple of attempts from your end before you really land that job. So you have to stay super motivated. Yeah, and having a strong LinkedIn profile is again very, very important. um, I'll go back to talking about the portfolio projects. Now, for your portfolio, when you make 2 projects, make sure it's end to end. Like if you've done a hackathon and Creatum with your friends, you will do it in a group, right, of 3 people, 4 people probably, or you're doing code along sessions. Make sure you're able to go home and do everything alone, like all by yourself. Also, it's important for you to be able to individually run this whole the whole process, because when they ask you questions, they might ask you to explain everything from the beginning to the end. At least verbally they might expect you to explain everything, and if you have not done it yourself, a recruiter will know and they will catch you and they will grill you. So make sure you are ready with it, and of course you want to continue working in your superpower, utilize your superpower and perform really well. So it's important for them to know what your superpower is, and that can only happen when it's strongly reflected in your projects. It's very important for you guys to apply, keep your projects ready and present it well on GitHub. GitHub is, I think, I keep telling learners to tattoo their GitHub URL on their hand. It's almost like it's synonymous to that. You will have to be super, super active on GitHub, take other projects, things like that, and keep updating it with all the new things that you're doing. Abhishek, you have a question. I have one query related to portfolio building. Yeah, go ahead.
So, Kritika, is it advisable joining a data science fine as a new job profile? I'm switching my profile. Okay. So, is it advisable that I can also change my domain? Like currently, I am working with oil and gas sector, and I'm considering data science or data analyst job in some finance sector. Is that will helpful?
So again, yeah, of course. So you can pick whatever domain you want to go for, because see, you're transitioning anyway, right? So transitioning is you can change your domain. Absolutely, that's absolutely fine. I usually recommend people to stick to that domain because that just helps them create a niche. But some people come from domain where data science is not really booming either. Like you come from an oil background.
Yes.
Yeah, oil, petroleum. So when you're from that background, I don't know how much of data science is really booming over there. Of course, it might be in the scientific part where in the quality of the oil and all, maybe, but at the business side of it, operation side of it, I don't know how much is it really booming. So you might want to change to a different domain, and that's absolutely okay. Not a problem. You need to identify what domain really excites you, and then try to probably plan your projects around that. Of course, it's also okay if you don't want to stick to any particular domain. If you want to just keep it agnostic, because data science is very agnostic, right? So if you want to keep it open, that you know what, I'm okay with any domain as long as it's pure data science, I would love to do that. So even that's fine. In that case, make sure you have a variety of projects that shows that you can have a very eclectic approach in terms of domains.
Okay.
Great. Any other question? That was a good question actually.
That's all. So, but if I'm not wrong, if I'm changing my profile as well as domain, then definitely it will give me little bit advantage over others, right? If I'm working in the same domain, like currently I'm in oil and gas, and we are using data science, but it's like very childish age. very minimum use of data science we are doing?
So you can, so if you stick to your domain, then you could be the one who really helps take this ahead. And it's not actually a very bad idea to stick to your domain. If it has started in your domain and it hasn't really gone up right now, it has to be scaled up. Then I think it's a good idea to stick to your domain because you can do some wonders over there, being part of the same industry. But even if you change the domain, it's absolutely fine. As long as you do a brilliant job at it, it doesn't matter. Because it's all about applying your data science concepts, and you can apply them in almost any domain that you work in.
Okay.
Your skills have to be really strong. Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as the recruiter sees that your skills are strong, it won't matter. You definitely need to have a really good resume because while you can perform really well on the job, you need to be able to get shortlisted. You need to be able to crack an interview to go to the next round of an interview. So all of that will happen only when you have a really strong resume. Don't worry, guys. We will have an independent session on portfolio projects. We'll have an independent session on resume, an independent session on LinkedIn. Where we talk all about that. So don't worry. I will not go into greater detail today about it, but in due course of time we will. We'll take it one step at a time, right? But right now, I just want you guys to start planning that. Okay, I will need to work on these items as well. I need to work on these collaterals as well, right? Just start planning. You have to have a very strong resume and make sure your resume and your LinkedIn both show your superpower. I think I've mentioned superpower so many times that it's high time we all start thinking about what is that thing that that is really strong for me, that I'm really good at. It could also, okay, so we always talk about attitude and aptitude, right? You might have an attitude towards it, but you may not have an aptitude towards it. By that I mean you might like doing something, but you might not be naturally good at it. Versus you might be good at something and we just assume that I'm so good at this that I really like it as well. Not for everybody are these two things the same, but for many of us, luckily they are the same thing. We like it and we're good at it as well. So it's really important for you to be able to identify both and see if you can marry them in a way, or if you can bring them together in some way where your liking and what you're good at comes together. That is how you build your superpower. That's how you identify and really leverage on it. You have to make a very strong LinkedIn. We will have an in-depth LinkedIn session. Don't worry. Here are some very basic pointers, but we will have a much detailed, like 1.5 hour session on your LinkedIn, and we'll do some activities also. But to start off today, make sure your LinkedIn is updated to whatever you have done so far and whatever wherever you are right now in the industry, in your journey. Make sure that is updated and you keep updating as and when new things start happening. So, okay, so, you know, right, a lot of Geratim learners have transitioned successfully. So the most common roles that our learners have transitioned in, one is definitely data scientist, but even though they have joined a data scientist, they don't do pure DS work. They do a lot of machine learning engineering. They do a lot of them are doing a lot of data analysis. Now, I can tell you this from my personal experience and interaction with our learners, even the ones who are in junior AI, machine learning engineer, and even data scientists, all of them are doing data analyst work, a lot of them. Of course, the ones who have joined startups, they are also handling end-to-end projects, but a majority of them are working in the data analyst side. There's again data engineering as well, but data engineering is something that we don't really teach, and our learners have not really transitioned in that as well. Business analyst is also something our learners are looking at. Some of them are really good in communication. They are really, they come with an MBA background, you know, they have that experience. So business analyst is a role that a lot of them have explored. Now, who are the learners who are getting offers? Like, what is it that they're doing right? So, of course, they apply to jobs non-stop. They give multiple interviews, and they learn from one interview. They come back. Sometimes they ask for interaction with mentors. They have questions. They go back and next couple of interviews, and they crack a job. Sorry. Of course, hackathons. Not all our learners stick to only the Grey Atom hackathons. They go out there. There are a lot of independent hackathons happening outside. The companies who arrange for hiring challenges, hiring hackathons, there are international competitions. Some might seem really hard, but at least even if you start applying, even if you start trying to attend them, you will get somewhere, right? You learn something out of it. So I know some people who sat for like 10 or 12 hackathons. They've probably won 2 out of the 10 or 12 of them, but they still learned so much that when they went to the industry to apply for jobs, they were able to crack all the hiring challenges. And that was really, really interesting when I saw. So make sure that you are attending a lot of external hackathons. Attempt the mock interviews, incorporate the feedback that the experts give if you have a mock interview. There is something called PRAMP. PRAMP allows, so I'm going to share the link with you people after the session. PRAMP allows you to, it pairs you up with somebody else, someone you don't know from the world. This person could be sitting anywhere in the world. And that person will conduct an interview for you. He or she will be given a set of questions on the basis of the domain or the expertise that you have selected. And they will ask you questions, and they will also give you, okay, I'll give you a very, let me give you an A and B example, okay? So there's person A and there's person B. So as person A, you sit, when you sign up with PRAM, you say you want to sit for an interview for, say, data analyst role. Person B will be paired up with you. You have no idea who this person B is. Person B is going to be given a set of questions along with expected answers, and this person will conduct an interview with you. After the interview, they can give you a detailed feedback on how it went and what else you can do to improve. PRAMP will also give you some feedback on these are the pointers that we expect you to cover in the responses. I think it's a great tool. So start attempting mock interviews with your friends when you're halfway through your course, when you think you have enough skill set to really start applying for jobs. Just before that, sit for mock interviews, ask your classmates. You will probably not be paired with your classmates. This person you're paired with is probably somewhere else, sitting somewhere else in the world. But it's still a very good experience and it's very helpful. I'll share the link with y'all. Make sure you start blogging on Medium, even if you think you're not someone who can write or blogging is not your thing. At least start going to Medium and reading. There's so many articles, such good data scientists who are doing insane work out there. They are very active. They write a lot. They share their knowledge. They share all the new innovations that's happening. So it's really important for you to be very active on Medium. Read what's happening, and if you can start writing, that would be great. It really shows very well. Use LinkedIn, network with them. Our learners have done this. They have networked with a lot of business heads, a lot of HRs, like senior chief HR officers. They have connected with a lot of hiring partners. They've connected with a lot of data science heads of companies on LinkedIn, and through them, when they were ready, they've applied for jobs and they have cracked the job and landed a really fulfilling job, I would say. So make sure you're networking with the right people. And hang in there. Yeah? It's gonna get difficult sometimes. It might not get difficult for you at all. A lot of learners have just transitioned so smoothly. It felt like a breeze, man. So make sure that you are motivated. There will be hard days, there will be easier days, but stay motivated, just like always. And we are here, Grey Atom is here. You have questions, we are here to answer your questions. But for that, you need to be able to ask us. So make sure you do that. Yeah, so Data Speaks, learners who have transitioned, they have worked on our platform for at least 8 to 9 hours per week. This is all. So we are a data science company ourselves. We run a lot of analysis internally, and yeah, this is something that we identified. 8 to 9 hours of learning per week. This could be practicing. This could be the coding. Make sure you invest at least this much. That's hardly any time. That's 1.5 hours maximum per day, and that's really easy, I think, to invest when you want a career change. 72% of the people who transitioned were actively participating in external hackathons, and yeah, this is our average. Like this is, but I think the average has gone down now. 7 unsuccessful interviews. There are many of them who have cracked multiple jobs. I know someone who recently had four offers in the middle of coronavirus pandemic. This person had 4 offers from different companies. The only thing is he made opportunities for himself. He applied to every company out there. Every company out there, he applied for a data science role, and he sat for many interviews, and it worked. So yeah, while I'd say there are 7 unsuccessful interviews, it might also mean you will crack it in say one go. You might take more than 7 unsuccessful interviews, but you have to be really, really gritty about it. You have to be very motivated. So let's just do this quick activity. Let me share the link with you all. Yeah, can you guys access it? Like I've given you view only access, you'll have to download an Excel version. Great. So let's try to, I want you guys to pair up. So I think right now it's not a lot of us. So I want Abhishek and Anurag. Why did you guys pair up and do this activity? And then I want you guys to share your responses with me. Yeah, works? I'm gonna go on mute. Abhishek, Anurag, you guys can start talking. You guys can pair up and do this activity together. And I'm just gonna go on mute. And I think by 8:55, I'll want to discuss. Let's do this, yeah? Anurag, are we doing this together? Great, Anurag and Abhishek.
Yeah, Anurag. So we need to fill the sheet. So
Yeah.
okay, yeah, this sheet says okay. Data currently hiring for role interested in source information, application status. Okay, so okay. So do you like to give a shot like you want to list some companies? Do you have any names in your mind?
I don't actually know.
Okay. Actually, I have some companies in my mind, but they all are like in different field.
Yeah.
So, but still, we can put something. At least we can start.
Yeah.
So, can you? Okay. We individually need to fill the sheet, or some one person can fill it. What do you think?
So you can, so ideally you can get a local copy of this and fill it up. So if you're doing it an activity together, no. So what you have to do is, if you want to share your screen, one of you can. If you want, I'll stop sharing my screen. You can share yours, and Anurag can tell what his pointers are, and Abhishek, you can put that on the screen on your sheet, and that's also fine as long as you.
Okay. So, Anurag, can I share my screen?
Yeah, fine.
Okay. Give me.
So I've stopped sharing mine.
Yeah. So, Anurag, can you see my? It's my screen is shared.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I
So
can.
let me know if you want to put anything. I have some companies in my mind. Example, Citibanks.
Can I also participate in this?
Yeah, please. That will be helpful.
Okay, great. So list 5 companies you aspire to work for. Well, I have Microsoft, and why Microsoft? Well, because they've always been really up. Even if they're not the ones who are innovating, they've always caught on really fast, and they've innovated so much in technology. And coming from an L&D background, I really like their work culture, and I want to join them. So Microsoft. So no, you have to download a local copy of it.
Okay. Okay.
So let me do one thing. Let me share my screen.
Okay. That will be helpful.
Okay, so I would say Microsoft. Okay, you give me yours.
Citibank.
Citibank. Okay. Why Citibank?
It's like one of the top bank in world. First thing.
Any company you want to add, Anurag?
Yeah.
Tell me.
Any company, Anurag, just tell the name. Whatever it is.
Deloitte.
Deloitte. Yes. Am I spelling it right?
Yeah.
It's yet to show.
I think the other one was correct. Okay. Okay. So when you do it yourself, you need to identify 5 for yourself and what fascinates you about the company. So top 5 companies for each of you. When you do this activity back at home, right? Make sure you identify 5. And I mean, what makes you so inspired? What inspires you about that company? Why do you like it so much? Okay, think about it. Do some research. All right. Great. Vijay, Anisha, if you guys want to add something, just go ahead. It's 5 of us. We can totally do this together. Yeah. Okay. 5 companies you think you have a shot into. So when I say this, I'm not saying you don't have a shot at Citibank or Microsoft or any of those. But I basically mean something that you know that in the near future, this could be your next step. This company could be the next company that you want to probably join. And what about you? Is it your domain? Is it your particular knowledge? Anything that you think makes you a good fit for it? Yeah.
So I
So
will name one Honeywell.
Honeywell. Why would that be?
Considering my domain knowledge and they are in oil and gas also, and if I will say like okay, I have a domain knowledge, and yeah, they are like so that I can use my current domain knowledge as well as my newly acquired learnings.
Right, right. Okay, great. This is a long shot, but I'd say Lambda because they are also into, you know, they are also into an ed tech and they also train people and yeah, learning and development is a really big wing there. So LND. Yeah. Okay. Any company you think you have a shot at, Anurag? Anurag is like, why are they asking me questions?
I will say Accenture is the next company.
Okay. Was that Anurag or was that Abhishek?
Abhishek.
Abhishek.
Anurag, do you want to add something here?
No, no idea.
He's like, I like these companies. Anurag, I think we can all go with these companies then.
Yeah, fine.
All right. So you guys understand what I'm trying to do, right? When you do this, you really start doing your research in the industry to understand what all is available over there. When you say good fit, it's not just about a company that you want to go for. You also want to see whether you match what they're looking for or not. If not, then we start working on it, right? We start working towards skills that will be required in that company. Okay.
What is L&D, Kritika?
Oh, learning and development.
Okay.
So I'm a psychologist and I'm a professional trainer and I have experience and this is my career, L&D. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not a data scientist, guys. All right.
Kritika, is it possible if you can share this sheet with us just for reference in the end of this session?
Yeah, so this deck that I will be sharing with y'all, that has this link.
Okay.
Yeah. Because there will be, this is your workbook, this is your DS workbook, there will be a lot of activities and different sessions we will be doing. So you need to have a local copy of the workbook, always.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm also launching a short poll on the screen. It won't take more than a minute. So Abhishek and Anurag, it would be great if you can just take the poll.
Yeah, sure.
I have launched the poll and it must be appearing on your screen now. Just a couple of questions, 2-3 questions.
And
Will you share this feedback with me, Vijay?
Yes, why not? Thanks, guys. Thanks for taking the poll. You can carry on with your activity.
All right, great. Thank you. All right. So I think let's go to question number 3. List 5 companies that are currently hiring for roles that you are interested in. Well, I don't know if you've done that research. So let's just quickly open LinkedIn Jobs and see if there is any job opening for data science. Yeah, I'm doing my bit of research. Data scientist, location, let's put Mumbai because I'm in Mumbai. So yeah, okay. Experience level, let's say entry level or associate level, either. Okay, so there is a data analyst role at ISS, Mandarin speaking. Okay, I'm just going to copy paste this link here. ISS, right? Okay, so
Kritika,
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. Is it right? As we are going for a new profile, we should check for freshers job or experience job. Which one is the better fit?
Both, because of course you're a fresher in the industry, but I mean you're fresher in data sciences, but in the industry you have work experience, right? So it's
Okay.
There are a lot of companies who look for someone who has at least some industry experience. So this person knows how to work in a company and all of that. But a fresher in data science is fine for them. Some companies look for someone who has 2 years of experience in data science. So those roles will not work for you. But definitely, so if you come with a lot of experience, then an analyst kind of a role really works where you're the bridge. So, you know, it's both. It's using your past knowledge and it's also using your newly learned skills.
Yeah. Why I ask this question because I am having like 11 years of experience in an oil and gas.
Yeah.
And definitely, if I will apply for freshers job, I will not get the same package what I am earning right now.
Yeah. So package also you'll have to be a little flexible. I will be very honest about it because data science will be competing with a lot of fresh people in the industry who are damn good. Okay, so you'll have to be really competent. Is the first thing, and second thing is you have to be a little flexible. But I won't say that come down from say you're at 15 lakhs LPA. Example, I'm just giving a rough example. I don't know what you're at. So if you're at 15 LPA, you don't have to come down to 7 LPA, right? But maybe be flexible to at least 12 LPA and all, because you really don't know what the new company can offer. And after 11 years of experience, it's not gonna be easy for you to really transition to a very fresher role also, because you only won't like it. You won't be comfortable. So you have to look for a role that really aligns with your experience. But it's there. Don't worry. You'll find something. Okay. And then this is basically for you when you start applying for jobs. This is gonna keep you updated. And if you ever talk to me or if you ever talk to a coach, you'll always have the sheet ready with where you have applied and what the status is. Okay. Identify your superpower. Here you need to identify one thing that you're good at versus what you enjoy doing. So I will say I'm really good at coaching.
Kritika, your sheet is not going up. Like,
Sorry?
I don't know if this is with me only. The sheet
It's
is not going
visible.
up.
You can't see my screen?
We can see, but it is stuck at like list 5 companies that are currently hiring. ISS.
It's not getting scrolled up and down the screen, your screen, Kritika.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, so we can't see the list of 5 companies that are currently hiring.
Can you see my screen now?
If you can just scroll up or scroll down, the screen isn't moving. Your cursor
Yeah.
is moving, but the
Now?
sheet is not up and down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now.
yeah. Now it's fine. Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks.
great. Thanks. Okay, so okay, fine. So I put 1. Does anybody else want to add anything over here? So this is the research you need to do and start adding this, right? I showed you how I have done this. You can look for these opportunities on LinkedIn, Naukri, Indeed, and start filling this up. Yeah, when you do this individually. All right. So we right now need to identify one thing that you are, it's really weird how I'm not being able to. You can still see my screen, right?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, great. Yeah. So say you need to identify one thing that you're good at and one thing that you enjoy doing. So does anybody want to give it a try? Anyone? I know it's really early on in data sciences. So in general, do you think there's a skill that you can talk about?
Something like data analysis for me, because currently I analyze some data which we are for testing, which we have done perform.
Right. So you enjoy it or you're good at?
I enjoy it.
Okay. One thing that you're really good at.
Coding skills.
Coding. So this is Dave. Okay.
Yeah, Dev has joined just now.
So ideally this should be 1, 2, 3, 4, but because we are a different, so right now I'm going to write it like that. So mine is not even this domain. So I'm going to look for something technical. I'm good at SPSS. So I'm going to put SPSS. What do I enjoy doing? Very different. I enjoy research. Okay. So you see, they are not the same. But there are times for me, I'm good at training and I also enjoy training. So that would be common. So then I would put it this way. Right? So you need to really look at how, so Abhishek, if say coding skills example, if that was for you as well, then you need to see how you can bridge this.
Okay.
Yeah. Same for you, Dave. If you think, say, research was your thing, that you really enjoy research, but you're very good at coding skills, then you can see, you can identify how you can make a combination of both. That way you enjoy what you're doing, and then you're also doing what you enjoy together, and that becomes your superpower. So it's really the idea of this particular activity is to identify what is that one thing that you can always like. You can always go up and say, hey, you know what, this is one thing that I'm damn good at, and I will never disappoint. I will do a damn good job at this. And then, you know, the companies, when they want to hire you, they'll see if they can run projects on those lines, or, you know, they'll have a set expectation from you. And that really goes a very long way. So I'm going to clear this for you people to be able to use the sheet, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is one activity. I really hope you guys go back and do this activity on your own and complete the sheet.
Guys, I'm also sharing a feedback form. It would be great if you can just share your thoughts via the form.
So when we share this deck, guys, you will have access to the cheat sheet. These are some templates, some websites where you can pick up templates. Very good practice. You can practice very good projects on Kaggle, Drive Data, or Aquan. I know Aquan also does some, you know, hiring hackathons sometimes. But so you need to really keep checking their website. They keep, you know, updating all of this. Very good opportunities over there. Please read blogs. Here are some of the places where you can read really good blogs. I think publications have also been mentioned. So it will be a good place, a good point for you to start. Read good blogs, start writing as well. Guys, read and watch and listen. I mean, there's so much. I don't even come from a data science background, and I am so interested. I have gotten really, you know, I'm really intrigued at so many things that you guys do, that I've been reading a lot. So coming from the background of data science, or building this as your domain, you really want to get more active. Here are some white papers. You'll have access to all of this, so you can use them when you start your research. And that's it from my end. Any questions, guys? Go ahead, shoot.
Kritika, are you going to share this presentation on Creatum somewhere, or we are getting it on mail?
So, yeah, we'll be sharing the deck via a drive. Okay, and we'll give you the access so that all the session decks you have access to, and you can just go through and refer whenever you need it. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, Kritika?
Yep, absolutely. You'll have, as in when I conduct a session, that folder will have all the decks uploaded, and then you'll get access to it.
Okay.
Just give me like 24 hours to give it to you. By tomorrow,
Yeah,
you'll have it.
one or max 2 days to get it there, and then the videos will be uploaded in the platform where you can access the videos from, and the decks will be shared via Drive.
And Kritika, you during session you told something about PRAMP. It's PRAMP, right?
Yes, absolutely, plan.
So I can just Google it and check the link and do the activity.
Yeah, you can do that. Let me see if I can pull it up for you. Here, this one. I'm putting it on chat as well.
Yeah, that will be helpful.
Yeah, so Kritika, I have a question. So I'm not sure it's the right platform to ask that, but the question is that, I mean, there is a lot of material available, right? Online, offline, anywhere else, right? So, I mean, I'm not able to, devise a good plan to stuck to, actually.
There's a lot of, I didn't get your question, Dave.
So question is like, there is a lot of material available, right? Here, right? Online, offline, books, videos, a lot of stuff is there. A lot of programs are there, like Coursera, I mean, everywhere there is information, right?
Yeah.
I'm not able to devise a right plan and stick to that. So my problem is that I stick to one platform, then I go to next platform, and
Right.
and
So,
also,
right, go ahead.
and after this, workload, right? Currently I'm working, so I mean, due to my workload, I don't get much time to practice, something like that. So whatever I practice, I mean, I eat. So after I don't practice on daily basis. So after 1 week, I use some coding. Then after 1 week, I do coding. So all of the concepts, right, that I learn, that go away. I mean, I start every time. It's a new start for me every time.
Okay, so Dave, I think you very rightly pointed out that there is information available everywhere. Like I know people who say that yeah, I can learn a lot of what I'm learning on YouTube as well, right? And of course, there are a lot of competitive courses available, but so I think that's where you decide to go for a course, like a full-time course where you learn everything. Because okay, so I'm not because I'm sitting in Grey Atom, but purely because of what our learners say usually. That when you start learning from mentors, right, they also give you the same information that is available somewhere else. But because there is so much information available, they help you make a path. They really tell you, okay, learn this first, learn this next. That's why Grey Atom has a curriculum. A lot of what we do, a lot of our material is curated and not created because there is information available everywhere, right? So there, what you do is what we have done is we create a curriculum where you learn this first, then you need to practice this, then you learn that first, and then you have to practice on that. We have mentors who are going to guide you throughout. Then towards the end of it, you have picked up on out of every information that's available out there, you picked up the most relevant ones and practiced those, and then that's how you really build a skill. Because yeah, man, even I think honestly face this problem sometimes. There is too much information available everywhere on the internet, even offline for that matter. But I think that's pretty much why you go for a course. It's a more guided approach. I don't know if was I able to answer your question?
Yeah, I got it. I mean, just stick to one course and stick to mentors.
Stick to mentors. Definitely stick to mentors. Yeah.
Yeah, how I'm not sure whether this question is asked, but suppose if you I want to consult part time or something like that. So, what is I mean, apart from jobs, right? I want to explore other opportunities. So, how can I do that? Is there any portal where I can go for the projects and all?
You want to work as a freelancer or
Freelancer. Yeah, suppose if I want to offer freelancing and all.
I think this is actually a good time. After this whole COVID, a lot of companies don't want to hire people on their, they don't want to onboard people on their payroll full time. So they are opening out opportunities where people can join them only for certain projects. You do that project with them and that's it. But this is a very temporary phase. But it's a good time to start with that as well. I think it's really early on in the stage, Dave. I think we all really need to go through the material a little more. You really need to develop certain skills that are non-negotiable in data sciences. You need to know certain things really well. Only after that should you really start looking for opportunities. So I think it's a little early on, yeah, we'll keep discussing, Dave. I'll come with a lot of examples. We'll have multiple sessions with me, which are at 8, so you guys need to join on time. In this session, we will. I'll bring up a lot, and then I will also start sharing. If I come across something good, I'll share those with you. No worry.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. Any more questions? I have shared the feedback form with you. I think Anurag is the only guy who has filled till now.
I think they'll fill it up, Vijay. You can follow with them later. I don't want them to right now. Also, yeah, Vijay, you always take this feedback and you never share it with me. I know it's company policy, but at least you can give me some pointers on, what can be better and all that, right?
Sure. So I'll definitely share the points that they have, given the feedback on.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Abhishek. Thank you, Anurag, for sharing the feedback forms. I guess Dave and Hitesh have joined quite late. So not a problem, guys. But Dave, you can still fill it. It would be great.
Yeah, sure. So where can I get it? I mean, I just
Yeah,
in
share
Slack.
the link.
Sorry.
Chat. In the chat, I've shared the link of the form. Yeah.
Okay, I think there is some issue actually. I'm not able to see the chat. Can you?
Yeah, you can fill it aram se after the session. Not a problem, but make sure you fill it.
No, so I'm not able to see the link actually. I'm not sure.
I'm sharing it with you again.
Yeah, not on the chat actually, because chat I'm not able to see. It's my office laptop.
Okay, I think we'll make sure that it's sent to you via email also, and you can fill it whenever you find the time.
I'll
Yeah,
put
sure.
it on Slack. I'll put it on Slack. You can fill it on Slack then.
All
Yeah,
right.
sure. Yeah, done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for putting this together.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys, for joining. Dave and Hitesh, next time be on time, Sunday mornings. You can have
Yeah.
lunch after the session. So, yeah. And Abhishek and Anurag, thank you so much for joining on time. It was great having you guys. Very interactive session. I had fun.
Thank you, Kritika. It's
Thank
very
you,
wonderful
Kritika.
session. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Take care. Have a good Sunday.
Thanks,
Yeah.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, stay safe, stay home.
Yeah, everybody, bye.
Yeah, bye.
Guys, I would request everyone to join on time from next time. I'm leaving the meeting now. Thanks.